Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. A question came through from a brother regarding the threshold and nisab for what we term as Qurbani in Urdu, which is sacrificing an animal, slaughtering an animal on Eid al-Adha, or in the days in which the slaughter is permissible, which are the 10th, 11th and the 12th of Dhul Hijjah. So I thought I'll make a quick response mentioning the similarities and the differences between the threshold for nisab, the threshold for zakah and qurbani, the nisab for zakah and qurbani, because we need to understand that in order to understand who has to give qurbani. But before that, let's take a look at who has to and who does not have to give qurbani. So for example, who will have to give qurbani? Firstly, they'll have to be a Muslim, they'll have to be Baligh, and then they'll have to be a resident, meaning they should not be a traveler as per the rulings and the teachings of Sharia. So in the light of the teachings of Islam, so that stipulated amount of distance, they must not have traveled that much or beyond that. Otherwise it would be a traveler, and that it is not wajib, necessary for a traveler to give qurbani. So and obviously meeting these conditions, along with that they'll have to be the owner of nisab, but that's the threshold basically. That is something that we're going to discuss, and we're going to look at when does that come into play. But so naturally the opposites of these will not have to give qurbani. So somebody who's non-baligh, so for example, if parents had 3 children, one is 4, one is 5, one is 6, all of these 3 children are considered non-baligh, so parents don't have to give a qurbani on their behalf. It is not wajib. Next, if a person in those 3 days in which slaughter is permissible, if they are a traveler as per the teachings of Islam, then also they will not have to offer sacrifice. Now let's look at the similarities between the two thresholds. The threshold meaning the amount that a person must have for them to have to pay zakah, and also for them to have to pay or have to sacrifice an animal. So for example, let's look at zakah and qurbani. Zakah, if somebody has gold, 87.48 grams of gold or 3.08 ounces of gold, then this person would be commanded that okay, now pay zakah for this gold. Likewise, if somebody has that much gold, it will be told that you must pay qurbani. You must give qurbani, sacrifice an animal. Likewise, if somebody has silver, 612.36 grams or 21.6 ounces of silver, then they will be told to pay zakah, and also that much amount of silver would mean they have to give qurbani as well. If somebody has currency equivalent to the value of 612.36 grams, so obviously there are many websites where you can go online and you can check the value of gold and silver that day's rate, and so whatever that day's rate is for 612.36 grams of silver, for argument's sake, let's say 280. I checked a while back, it was 280 then. I don't know if it's fluctuated since then. So 280, let's say 280 pounds. So 612.36 grams equals 280 pounds, for example. You will have to check for that day's rate. So that means if he has currency 280 pounds or more, then he will be commanded to pay zakah, and if he has that much currency, he will be told to give qurbani. And obviously both of these have to be exclusive of debt and essential needs, meaning if somebody has 300 pounds but they have to pay their electricity bill, they have to maybe pay their council tax and whatever, and after they've paid everything off, for their essential needs meaning things without which life would not be possible, or it would become very difficult. So after that they're left with only 150 pounds, then they don't reach that threshold. Now let's take a look at the difference, and this is the important part, the difference between the two thresholds. So firstly, for zakah is paid for gold, we've mentioned how much a person must have, silver, currency, and goods bought with the intention of selling them. So for example, you run a I don't know, some sort of a phone shop. You have a phone shop, so you buy mobile phones and you sell them off. So that those goods, those items you have bought with the intention of selling them off. So and there are animals and whatnot, but for most of us, this is what we look at when we look at what do we have to pay zakah for. But for Qurbani, anything that goes beyond the essential, the basic needs, and it equates to or goes beyond the value of 612.36 grams of silver, which in for example we have taken is the value we've taken, for example, is 280 pounds. So if they have any goods, anything that is beyond their basic necessities, their essential needs, and it equals to or it is more than 280 pounds, even if it is for personal use. So in zakah, things could be, they could have like, well, we'll take a look at some examples inshallah, but so let's jump straight to the examples, and we'll be able to tell the difference in zakah and Qurbani. So just keep these principles in mind. So let's take a look at examples. Let's say an extra house that he or she does not reside in. So a person they have an extra house. Now they haven't bought it to sell off. So it's not gold, it's not silver, it's not currency, and it's not an item or a good that they have bought to sell off. Therefore, if it comes to zakah, would they have to pay zakah on the value of that house? No, because it does not fall under those categories. However, but let's say if a person does not have 280 in cash, or they don't have the amount, the threshold for silver or gold. So in that case, it seems like they might not have to give Qurbani. But if they have this extra house, this extra house is beyond their basic needs, because obviously they're not living in there, they're living and surviving at another place. So this is beyond their essential needs. Now we will take the value of this house into account as well, and we will say this person must give Qurbani because they have a house which is worth 60,000, 70,000, however much it's worth, but definitely worth more than 280 pounds as the example we've taken here. Likewise, let's say they have a few spare mobile phones at home. So they've got one that they use, and the rest, they don't really need them. It is beyond their essential needs, that they're just lying around at the house, somewhere in the house. So now again, they're for personal use. So if they had to, when it comes to paying zakah for them, well, zakah is paid for gold, silver, currency, goods bought with the intention of selling them off. The mobile phones don't fall into that category, but they're beyond their basic essential needs. So if a person says, look, I don't have enough cash, I don't have to give Qurbani. But when we look at these 3 mobile phones, they're worth, each one of them is worth, let's say, even 200 pounds. So if they have 3 mobile phones, that's 600 pounds. So those 600 pounds worth of goods that are beyond their basic needs. So that means this person will have to give Qurbani. So these were a couple of examples. So in short, this is the criteria for Qurbani though. As well as being Muslim, Baligh, and a resident, they must have this much gold, silver or currency beyond their basic and essential needs, or they might have some other items which equate to this much.